we go. What is going on? Back again. We are going strong with this fantasy football push because, like I said, we are very close to fantasy football draft season, only a few months away. And we're talking in and out Jahan Dotson, Washington Commanders, the Commies. What are they doing? You know, Jahan definitely hurt a lot of people last year. A lot of people suggesting that he's a bust as well. And I find this very interesting because of the skill set that he does possess, how Washington's offense was last season, what they look like this year. It's going to be very interesting. And I got a lot of good, statistics to speak on when we talk about Jahan Dotson and the potential revival that we could see. I'm still in. I have always been a fan, especially when Jahan came out of Penn State. I was a huge supporter of his game, and I'm still not wavering whatsoever. And these are one of my favorite shows, so I can at least highlight the fact of what we're going to see potentially out of a Jahan in this offense now that they do have a new franchise passer. But let's talk Jahan's career statistics. He's only been in the NFL for 2 years, was the rookie in 2022, 12 games in 2022, 61 targets, 35 receptions, 523, nice 14.9 on the average, and 7 touchdowns, equated to 113.1 half PPR fantasy points for Jahan Dotson. So, I mean, it wasn't a terrible season, hence why everyone's saying, he's scoring touchdowns, had 7 TDs, definitely uplifted his stat line, and people were suggesting, we're going to see a massive uptick in year 2. Did not happen. Played 17 games, 83 targets, 49 receptions, 518 yards. Average went down to 10.6, and then he lost 3 touchdowns only with 4. So, I mean, career speaking, 84 receptions for over 1,000 yards and 11 TDs does not look bad statistically. But, 100 points, lost 13 points, basically was due in part to those TDs that he did miss, and he played more contests as he dealt with injury in his first rookie season. So it is a situation where a lot of people have lost faith in what Jahan could potentially be. I have not. I'm still fully on board. And why is that, you may ask? We're talking, what the Washington Commanders are right now as we sit today. We see what the target share was last year. We see the players that are no longer on this roster. Sam Howell will start there with his statistics. Last year throwing 612 attempts, man. He had 63.4% completion percentage, almost hit 4,000 yards, 21 TDs, 21 interceptions for Sam Howell. They ship him out. He goes to the Seattle Seahawks, and they go and draft themselves a Jayden Daniels, who is a rookie dynamo potential, huge upside franchise passer for these Washington Commanders. And it's going to bring a lot of upside to this offense. There is no question about that. When you're talking about what Jayden Daniels did in his last season at LSU, 72.2% on the completion percentage, 38-12 in yards, 40 TDs to only 4 interceptions. So this is one of the bigger reasons why they wanted Sam Howell out of this offense, because he was turning the football a lot. And I'm a big Sam Howell supporter, always will be, because I do believe in the skill set. It's just he's that, gunslinger mentality. He's going to, try to fit it in windows that he has no reason to fit him into, and it will turn the football over. Where Jayden Daniels, a little bit more protective of the football, has some rushing upside, even though Howell does have that as well. You have the electric playmaking ability potential of a Jayden Daniels, and you do got good weapons to feed in this offense. So last year, Terry McLaurin, 132 targets, Curtis Samuel, 91, Jahan Dotson saw himself 83 targets, and then Logan Thomas at 78. When you round out the rest of them, Antonio Gibson, 59, Brian Robinson, 43, Diami Brown, 23, Pringle, 22, Crowder, 20, and so on and so on. You see where the target share was being dispersed all over the field, and that's what Sam Howell did as well, very well. He was good at spreading the football a lot around the field, and that just shows, man, they threw the football way too much in Washington last year. 612 attempts is a lot of passes coming from your quarterback, and you got to believe that, this is going to get curtailed just a little bit when we're talking about target share and what is free targets for these Washington Commanders this season. So out the door, we're talking Curtis Samuel leaving his 91 targets. Logan Thomas gone, 78 targets on the board. Gibson with his 59. Pringle with 22. And then so on and so on. Frees up 254 targets for the Washington Commanders offense, which does promote potential upside for Jahan Dotson to be that guy. This is another interesting statistic I did find when it comes to Jayden Daniels in 2023 in LSU. 95.8% of his passing yard production went to 4 players, and 2 of those big ballers was Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas. 97% of his passing TDs went to those 4 wide receivers or tight ends. I'm telling you, Jayden Daniels in this system was very much, surrounded with only focusing on certain targets, which could be the MO here in Washington in year 1 of a Jayden Daniels NFL career. So we will see how it does transpire, but they did add a boatload of weapons to this offense also, and we will see how it does shake down. We're talking about potential average target share for this offense here in Washington. Terry McLaurin over his career, he's got 121.8 average targets per season. They added themselves a Luke McCaffrey, rookie. He should take a lot of volume as well because he is one of these guys that could be very much relied upon in the slot, being that guy to move the chains. McCaffrey is a very interesting commodity that they did add this offseason. Dyami Brown, what are we ever going to see from Dyami? Will he ever be the guy that we thought he was going to be? Is he just going to be the field stretcher? I'm kind of taking the latter in that approach and suggesting that Dyami is going to be just that field stretching type of wide receiver to pull coverage from other guys and keep defenses honest. They did add themselves a little Austin Eckler this year as well. 79 targets over his career average for an Austin Eckler. We know what Austin can do in the pass game. They're absolutely bringing in Eckler into this offense to help promote the easier passing reads for a Jayden Daniels. There is no question in my mind. I think it's going to promote a lot of screen passes, a lot of dump offs and checkdowns as well to get him a little bit more comfortable as he does. Jayden Daniels get more comfortable with the NFL game. They got themselves Zach Ertz as well. And while we do see Zach Ertz's career, tapering off quite a bit, I'm just saying 96.5% on the average target share for Zach Ertz. We're definitely going to see less than that. I mean, when talked about Eckler, equal to less than of 79 targets. Dyami Brown, less than 20 targets in my respect. McCaffrey, definitely pluses because we don't know how many targets this man's going to get. And you got to believe anywhere from the 55 to 60 range could be potential possibility for a Luke McCaffrey. And then Terry McLaurin saw himself over 130 targets last year. And I think it's going to be equal to or greater than the 121 average that he does possess. They also did add the rookie Ben Sinnett at the tight end spot. So we could see a double tight end, 12-man personnel as well with Zach Ertz, with Sinnett. Sinnett is this guy that's very much a quality type of tight end that you're looking for. Can make a lot of catches, can make some open field plays, can run down the field as well, and he can block. He's a very tough physical tight end coming into the league. This rookie Ben Sinnett, very good as well. You got Zacchaeus, you got Milne. I probably pronounced his name wrong. 10 targets and 34 targets respectively for Zacchaeus and Milne. What are you suggesting here? 40 plus targets coming to these wide receivers? You highly don't think so now that Curtis Samuel is no longer here as well. So if you believe that, Jahan Dotson isn't going to take a lot of the share that Curtis Samuel had and they're just going to give that to Eckler and McCaffrey, then okay, I understand the arguments of suggesting Jahan Dotson's role is going to stay quite stagnant this season, but I'm not buying it whatsoever. Like I'm saying, with Jayden Daniels, they see the opportunity where he was able to force feed 4 targets last year to high levels of consistency, with it being 2 of his wide receivers being a Malik Neighbors, being a Brian Thomas. I think you're going to recreate that here in Washington with a Terry McLaurin and a Jahan Dotson, and the sprinkles of a target share will get dispersed to all the rest after Terry McLaurin and a Jahan Dotson. Rosemary Jack Saint, this rookie as well. You guys got to keep eyes on him because he could absolutely jump a lot of these other wide receivers in this room. You still got Crowder, you still got Bird, and they're just going to filter those targets. There's no way Crowder's getting on even close to his average of 71 targets. It's definitely going to be less than in that respect as well. So when you're talking about the target share average from last year, it was 532.2 targets for the Commies offense, and now the league average in pass attempts was 572.9. Do we believe that Jayden Daniels in his rookie season is going to see anywhere close to 600 pass attempts? Hell no, it is not going to happen. We definitely know this, but anywhere from the 350 to 450 range is absolutely doable in this offense. If you take those numbers numbers, just what we saw last year. There is potential opportunity for 68 targets based on all the averages, based on what the target share of opening up free targets is on this offense. You still got 70 targets that you can play with. Even if we remove these 70 targets from this offense and suggesting that Jayden Daniels won't be able to support that many pass attempts this year, you're still in the good positives for Jahan Dotson, taking a lot of Curtis Samuel's workload, which will even be promotive in his statistical achievement. When we're talking ADP, this is where the value does come into play and why I'm still in, because you don't have a lot of risk here for potential return on investment. Wide receiver 59, overall 141, y'all. You get him in the end of round 11 at 11.75. I'm even suggesting on the lower end where Jahan had 83 targets last year, and we're seeing Curtis Samuel gone. There's even the opportunity for more than this. I truly believe I'm going on the approach of the lower end of plus targets for him at 20 only, which would uplift him from last year's target share to 103. So this is a great situation if Jahan can stay on the field, if Jahan can find himself into that end zone as well. You're getting a quality wide receiver that can make a lot of plays, even if he does get in that 850-yard range, the 6 to 8 touchdowns, gets you 55 to 65 receptions. You're winning with this wide receiver at ADP 59, and I'm definitely all on board. The moderate risk for me right now, only depending on what Jayden Daniels does do in the NFL, is how many passes is he going to do? How is this offense going to morph into being chemistry building-wise? Is it going to happen early? Is it going to take some time? You got to believe with a rookie passer, it's always going to take some time, some level of skill, but Terry McLaurin still is the number one wide receiver on this offense, and they are looking for somebody to take over the number 2 reins, and I do believe Jahan is that dude. It's just the way the offense went last year. It was a lot of Curtis Samuel taking a lot of pressure off, and Jahan was the afterthought. I think this is the revival season that I'm still pushing for this, and I'm in on Jahan Dotson, especially on the value where we can get him right now in round 11. You won't, even if he doesn't pan out, you pick him at round 11, back end of round, or beginning of round 12. I mean, you can cut him after 4 weeks, and you're no worse for wear on your fantasy team. But if he does hit, it is a big one, and I understand the boom rate consistency last year, only 17.6. This was a problem. He was not good overall, even though he did have over 100 points last year. Just did not boom for you consistently enough to even suggest starting him in matchup play. This is where this year could absolutely be different, and I do think once we get into training camp, his ADP should increase a little bit. Will it go really high? Probably not, but I'm okay with him anywhere from round 9 to round 12. I'm definitely good with picking a Jahan Dotson this year. But there you have it. That is in or out Jahan Dotson, Washington Commanders, the Commies. What are they going to be this year? I'm all in, man. I like what the Commies are doing. I like how they're building. I'm a Jayden Daniels fan and supporter. Health for him is definitely going to be key. Do not take those big hits, Jayden. But, I mean, the fact that he was able to support guys like Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas to supreme high levels of statistical achievement. What's on the docket for Jahan? I do believe it's going to be a revival this year, and I'm definitely all in. But there you have it. Nevertheless, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments, give me your thoughts. You in or out on Jahan Dotson? I know there's going to be a lot of y'all that are saying, hell no, I'm not in. But I mean, at the risk to return on investment, how can you not be? But we'll see you next time. I am out.